समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
In Rekha Gupta now, Delhi has a new chief minister, and you know what? The BJP has its first Delhi chief minister after 27 years. 1998, that is when the first term after Delhi got its assembly and the first election was held in which the BJP won elections. That term of that assembly ended and the BJP chief minister in that case, the third chief minister within the term of the same assembly. That was a little bit shambolic for the BJP in Delhi, which the party considers to be its govt, as we say in political analysis, or a fortress or a citadel. So they had three chief ministers. Madanlal Khurana was the first chief minister, elected chief minister. Then he got caught in Narasimha Rao's, that was the Narasimha Rao era by the way. He got caught in Narasimha Rao's Hawala scam, so he left. Then came Chaudhry Sahib Singh, whose son Pravesh Verma was now one of the candidates and has just been sworn in a minister. He was a candidate for chief minister. And third, Sushma Swaraj, when it looked like Sahib Singh had become quite unpopular, towards the very end, Sushma Swaraj was brought in. She only served for 52 days. That, if you might remember, was the onion election. Onion prices had gone up, and that's when India News TV discovered a story called Onion. And since then, India News TV has never given up that story. Come October, November, thereabouts, around time it's off season for onion and prices are going up. Every year you will find the same story comes up. Nevertheless, 27 years. Because what happened after that? After that came Sheila Dikshit. Sheila Dikshit became a very popular chief minister for Congress party, served 3 terms and was popular until the last year. It was the last year, the combination of many things, particularly India against corruption, and even before that, Arvind Kejriwal, who then headed a bunch of activist NGOs, Parivartan and some others in Delhi, they had been attacking Sheila Dikshit consistently, and that had been undermining her credibility. Then came India against corruption, then the Nirbhaya case in Delhi, all of that, Commonwealth Games of 2010, all of those were then used by Arvind Kejriwal to have Sheila Dikshit defeated. I didn't say to defeat Sheila Dikshit because the first election in 2013, Arvind Kejriwal's party got a lot of seats. Sheila Dikshit might have lost power. She got defeated. But Arvind Kejriwal's party, AAP, was not the largest party. The BJP was the largest party, yet the BJP could not form a government because nobody would come with it. So Congress party, which had been dismantled in Delhi by Aam Aadmi Party, they decided to keep the BJP out. They decided to support the Aam Aadmi Party. That government lasted about 49 days. You remember that Chief Minister then, Kejriwal, resigned on the pretext that Jan Lokpal bill had not been passed. Right? At that tamasha, you all see activists of Aam Aadmi Party bringing in quilts to Jantar Mantar in the thick of winter and pretending to sleep there, etc., etc. Then, in the follow-up elections, Aam Aadmi Party came with this massive sweep where Congress Party was wiped out. Congress Party in the process has never touched the double figure mark since then, not for seats. Seats have actually been 0, but not even for vote percentage. That is how Delhi's politics changed and how dramatically it altered. You can see in the fact that in a city where the BJP was traditionally very strong, and one of the reasons it was very strong is that as the exchange of population took place following the partition, a lot of Delhi's Muslims left. The exchange of population from Delhi was very, very comprehensive. It wasn't as total as in Punjab. In Punjab, in fact, you might need You might not need more than the fingers of two hands to count number of Punjabi Muslims who stayed back in India. Muhammad Rafi, Sahib Ludhianvi, a few like that, and not many more. That transfer of population was very total. In Delhi, it wasn't that comprehensive, but quite comprehensive still. Muslim population, which was 33% of Delhi before partition, now came down to 6%. In fact, if you look at the numbers today, it will be about 12-13%, but that's also because people from many other parts of the country, particularly eastern parts of the country, Bihar, eastern UP, West Bengal, they've come in search of jobs into Delhi. In fact, you will find a lot of them in eastern Delhi, across the Jamna, or eastern parts of Delhi, southeastern parts of Delhi, even this side of Jamna, for example, the Okhla area. And the number of Punjabis, which used to be much fewer earlier, that came to be about 30% of Delhi. 30% of Punjabis in Delhi also include Punjabi Sikhs, Khatri Sikhs. Most of them are refugees who came from Pakistan. That's why all of Western Delhi, that's why Virat Kohli, Shikhar Dhawan, Virender Sehwag, although he's not a Punjabi, he's a Jat, Virender Sehwag, Ishant Sharma, a lot of these aggressive Delhi stars, they come from West Delhi, and most of them are children of the refugee families, Punjabi refugee families. That's where the BJP was very strong. And because the BJP was very strong in the Punjabi refugee population, even in the first election that was held in Delhi in 1952, Delhi used to have a state assembly then, until 1955, until it was abolished, and that itself is a story. In that first election also, Janasangh had got 5 seats, but at that time, hardly anybody knew Janasangh nationally. But in Delhi, they had shown their presence. Again, to give you just a little bit of understanding of how significant it was that the BJP was out of power in Delhi for 27 years and has now come back with a very large majority. Again, we have to understand that while the Delhi Assembly was abolished, again, after fights between the Chief Minister, Congress leader, a Jat Congress leader, Chaudhry Brahm Prakash, between him and the Chief Administrator at that point, Anand Pandit, the designation then was Chief Commissioner, which had come in from British era. Lieutenant Governor came in later. So it was Chief Commissioner. There were fights between the elected Chief Minister and the Chief Commissioner. After that, at the national level, States Reorganization Commission report came in, and that recommended, partly also influenced by this fight in Delhi, the Chief Minister fight, that Delhi did not deserve to be a state or to have a state assembly. So Delhi in that case became like a centrally administered, bureaucratically administered body. That went on for some time until more committees were formed. There were demands to democratize Delhi in 1955. So briefly after Chaudhry Brahm Prakash, the Sardar Gurmukh Nihal Singh, who was a well-known figure in our national politics for a very long time, he became Chief Minister of Delhi, and then Delhi lost its statehood, and that's how it remained. The only thing that changed was that Chief Commissioner's office was elevated to Lieutenant Governor, and then a string of ICS officers served as Lieutenant Governors of Delhi. Now that went on, and there were demands for statehood or some democracy. By 1966, now Indira Gandhi's government, it was conceded that Delhi will have not an assembly but something called a Metropolitan Council. In that Metropolitan Council, the first elections were held in 1966, and who won that election? That's important. It's Bharatiya Janasangh that won that election. Now that is also not a time, that juncture in our history when the Congress party was so powerful, because Congress party was weakening at this point. 1967, the Congress party lost a bunch of states to a ragtag alliance of opposition parties. Mrs. Gandhi was very weak now. Nevertheless, in 1966, the Janasangh, which is the parent of Bharatiya Janata Party, they won that election. A.N. Jha, another distinguished ICS officer, was the Lieutenant Governor. That first Metropolitan Council, the elected chairman was who else but L.K. Advani, Lal Krishna Advani. And who was the Chief Executive Councillor, which is like the equivalent of what the Chief Minister might be. That was Vijay Kumar Malhotra. Both of them rose to be big stalwarts of the Jansangh first and then the BJP in Delhi and also nationally. Similarly, another leader who rose alongside was Madanlal Khurana, who became the first Chief Minister of Delhi once Delhi got its full state assembly. The earlier one was a Metropolitan Council. In fact, a figure who was very familiar in Delhi from the Metropolitan Council days is Jagpravesh Chandra of the Congress Party, who was also the Chief Executive Councillor. So, having given you all of this Gyan now, I bring in the real Gyani, which is DK Singh. He's sitting here with me. So, DK will tell us the significance of this and also political nuances of what has happened and what does it mean. And also, particularly, I'd like to ask you, DK, or hold forth on BJP's special talent in grooming people in student politics or lower level, functional level RSS politics and bringing them up to the top. So BJP to that extent has a much better HR policy than say the Congress party. And once we are done with it, we'll be joined in by Neelam Pandey because another complexity, this is cut the clutter. So another bit of clutter, persistent clutter in the case of Delhi is who owns which part of Delhi. What I mean is who governs which part of Delhi and how, because that is the real spaghetti bowl or a dog's breakfast. And that is something that gets even more complicated if the central government is with one party and the state government is with another, and particularly if they are very hostile to each other. Sheila Dikshit managed it in an era where Vajpayee and Advani were more accommodative. Sheila Dikshit was more skillful and there wasn't a constant state of war. However, the last 10 years have been the exact opposite of that. So to explain those complexities or to declutter that jumble of facts, we'll also be joined in by Neelam Pandey, who's been covering Delhi politics and Delhi government very closely for many years. So DK, back to you now.
See, HR policy, you have often discussed it in your CTC episodes. It has been pretty strong and we have seen, you have so many new faces. Bhajanlal Sharma in Rajasthan, nobody expected him. You never expected somebody like Biplab Deb, I mean, who's...
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, entrepreneur. And now you have Rekha Gupta, who rose from an AVP activist to becoming a councillor and now the chief minister. So, state after state, you see this phenomenon. And you were just discussing the DUSU president and how the NSUI, DUSU president, from the NSUI, they have not really risen much, and we will discuss it. But from the AVP side, you have a very illustrious list. What we need to see in this, in the formation of this government is how the balance works now. Because Rekha Gupta, well, first term MLA, now the chief minister. So if you look at the list of 6 cabinet ministers, only one, that is Kapil Mishra, has some administrative experience. He was water minister in the AAP government. The other 5 have no administrative experience. If you discount the fact that, Rekha Gupta was heading the education committee in the North Delhi Municipal Corporation. And Ashish Sood was heading another key committee that was in the South Delhi Municipal Corporation. Otherwise, dearth of experience, you would say. But then you have seen how, Modi and Shah have been experimenting it. In Gujarat, you saw the entire cabinet being replaced. And again, it's working as smoothly as you could think of. So here also, but then LG, we can actually expect LG running it, in fact, indirectly. He was doing it anyway, he was doing it earlier also. But now there will be coordination, and there are so many cases, because of lack of coordination, AAP government had gone against the LG, against the centre. Many a times, so that coordination was lacking. Now we may soon be looking at a triple engine government. So it's double engine you have at the centre in the state, in the UT, and now soon you will have the mayor's election. There, AAP is already, the number of councillors after some defections by AAP councillor, BJP is already having having more councillors today.
Udhar bhi Operation Kamal hua hai.
There will be an Operation Kamal, and it will now that the government has been formed, we should be expecting more of it. So you may expect the BJP to have its mayor now sooner than later. I mean, say in April you have the mayoral election here. So you will have mayor also. Then we are talking about triple engine government.
So since you talked about these cases, I have a list which Apurva Mandhani has given me of 8 cases in Supreme Court, which the outgoing Aam Aadmi Party government and filed against the central government essentially.
And
through
a couple against the
through
NGT. I mean, that's-
through the LG, NGT, but essentially against the central government. I will give the list to you as we go along. So DK, BJP's HR policy, because if I look at DUSU presidents, right, going back, if we start with 1974-75, Arun Jaitley, right, we all know where he rose and what he could have become if unfortunately bad health had not taken him away, cancer had not taken him away so prematurely. So Arun Jaitley, then Vijay Goyal, he also served in the Council of Ministers, Central Council of Ministers. After that was Vijay Jolly, who's been quite active, and Sudhanshu
And
Mittal.
last you heard of Vijay Jolly was when he was doing that online campaign for Donald Trump, which
That's
became a
right.
controversy.
That's right. As if the BJP was backing Donald Trump's, and he's a character. I remember after the nuclear tests, he held a big conference in Constitution Club where I was also invited to speak, and I think he stood up there and he said, "Na तीर से ना तलवार से, ना चक्कुओं के वार से, दुनिया अगर डरती है तो डरती है न्यूक्लियर वार से." तो वो ऑन द स्पॉट पोइट्री भी कर सकता है, बट he didn't rise that high in party politics. After that, you have some interesting names from DUSU, because DUSU, I can see Delhi University Students Union, that's been the cradle for much political talent. It helps to be in Delhi. Sudhanshu Mittal, again of the BJP and RSS, key figure. Sudhanshu Mittal, key figure in BJP and RSS, very close to Pramod Mahajan. Ajay Makon of the Congress Party, again a key leader who became a minister at the center. Alka Lamba of the Congress 95-96, then to AAP, then back to Congress, then 96-97, Rekha Gupta. And in fact, Alka Lamba posted this picture, which you will see on your screen, of herself and Rekha Gupta being sworn in together in 1 year. So you can see that DUSU has been a nursery for future political leadership. But it seems to me that BJP people coming out of there have done much better than the Congress people. In fact, after Alka Lamba, the only other name I see which is still a bit prominent is Ragini Nayak, called the Congress Party NSUI, won 2004-5, 2003-4, Rohit Chaudhary 4-5, Narendra Tokas, 5-6 is Ragini Nayak, then Amrita Dhawan, Amrita Bahari, and so on. And then you come to one more prominent name, but again from the BJP, Nupur Sharma, who's been in trouble lately, we know, for obvious reasons. And then some of the others who we might hear about as we go on in future, because those are too recent. So what is this thing about the BJP and student politics? They are able to get these people from student politics, labor politics, the RSS, pracharaks or sub-pracharak level, and build them up.
So that also tells us the nursery. Nursery is in fact the RSS. So we talk about AVP, that is RSS's students' wing. And so we have seen in several states, the new chief ministers who were appointed by Modi since 2014, almost all of them, if we discount those who have come from other parties like say Pema Khandu or Himanta Biswa Sharma, almost all of them came from the RSS. I mean, they have this RSS background. And that's where the AVP comes in the picture. So that nursery has been working very effectively. It was happening earlier also, but now with Narendra Modi at the helm, that has become the only recruitment cell, I would say.
On the other hand, I see so many NSUI people have won, particularly from 2003-4 onwards. But you don't hear of any of them. They all seem to have sort of withered away.
Rahul Gandhi, if you remember, way back in 2007, I guess, when he became the AICC General Secretary in charge of Youth Congress and NSUI, he started talking about how he wants to bring the youth into the mainstream politics. And he started that democratization exercise. So he started having the internal elections in NSUI, Youth Congress, and that was supposed to provide you fresh faces. I mean, so bringing youngsters from NSUI Youth Congress to the top level of the party. That was what he talked about.
Ashok Tamar was one of them.
But Ashok Tamar, before he started, he was already heading the Youth Congress. But he became very close to him. You see a few of them here and there. Otherwise, that
I see
exercise.
Meenakshi Natarajan has suddenly staged a comeback.
Yeah.
She won the 2009 election in
Yeah.
Madhya Pradesh. That was Rahul Gandhi's high point, his last high point.
Yeah. And now she is back as Telangana in charge, WICC in charge of Telangana. But she was not discovered through that process.
Yeah.
So in many states, you have the internal elections. These youngsters were to come up the party hierarchy, but hadn't really happened in a very effective way. You see a few secretaries here and there, but not much.
So I told you about these cases. I'll briefly tell you about these cases. Then DK and I will talk politics for a couple more minutes. And then Neelam will join in. Also, we'll go over the implications of these cases. One is the big one. It's a constitutional case, Supreme Court writ petition that is challenging the central government's change of law as in National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Act of 2023. This is where they took away a lot of the powers of the elected state government. That was still in the earlier Lok Sabha where the BJP had a brute majority of its own.
In fact, this legislation was brought barely 8-9 days after the Supreme Court had ruled in favor of the AAP government. The services will be under the control of the elected government.
And to get around that,
Yeah.
the center changed the law. At that point, they had a brute majority, as I said. Second, who would be the chairperson of Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission? Now, DERC, every state which has unbundled its electricity business, there it's a regulatory commission that decides the tariff. So there was a fight over who will be the chairman. LG wanted to appoint somebody.
Center appointed Justice. The center went ahead and made the appointment of the ARC chairperson. And their AAP government was complaining that nobody even consulted them. They had no say in that appointment.
So that case is pending. Yeah. Then challenging the appointment of LG as the chair of the high-level committee to oversee the cleaning of Yamuna. Now that's a sore point with the LG as well. That look, I was appointed chairperson of the committee to clean up the Yamuna, and AAP went to Supreme Court and took a stay on that, took an injunction. Now you see, the moment Arvind Kejriwal lost, you saw these machines coming up on the Yamuna, sucking up garbage and sucking up the muck there. And people said, oh, itne din tak soye hue the kya LG? Why is he woken up now? The problem is that earlier there was an injunction and now there is a presumption that the new government will go and withdraw all the cases. But see some of the other cases. So this is the appointment of LG as the chair of the high-level committee to oversee the cleaning of the Yamuna by the NGT. This was not an appointment by the central government, but by the National Green Tribunal. So Aam Aadmi Party's government went to Supreme Court and had it stayed. Then they challenged the NGT order forming another committee for Delhi's solid waste management. That is to do something about these garbage mountains. Actually, if you want to check out what are the tallest structures in Delhi, Delhi is a low-rise city. Because everybody thought because the Mughal Bashas ruled here, they lived in low-rise palaces, and then all our top bureaucrats, ministers, judges, they live in low-rise homes. So all of Delhi should be low-rise. I'm being sarcastic. So Delhi is a low-rise city. There, what is the tallest structure? The tallest structure is not some 10-story apartment complex that may have been built, say in some part of West Delhi or some part of distant South Delhi, say in GK2, or the Qutub Minar, the usual suspect. The tallest structures in Delhi, if you can call them structures, are the garbage mountains to the north and northeast of Delhi. In fact, you go up on any of these apartment complexes and you see, oh wow, I never thought Delhi had mountains around it, right? And these ones are genuinely mountain-sized, and sometimes, particularly in summer, you also see smokes coming out of these, as used to happen in the Philippines and Manila at one point of time. So a committee was set up to clean these up, and there again, the NGT had appointed LG the chairperson. So that also was injuncted. Then there was a matter pertaining to the appointment of lawyers for Delhi government. And the lawyers the Delhi government appointed and who were fighting its cases, the same cases, LG allegedly refused to release their payments. So can you imagine what happens when lawyers are not paid? Sixth, Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights approached the Supreme Court in 2022 challenging amendments to the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015. So in the process, Delhi was in a mess. Delhi was an orphaned city because one parent of Delhi was the chief minister, the other parent of Delhi was the LG, the grandparent of Delhi was the central government. In the middle of all of them who were fighting, two on one side, one on the other, Delhi had been orphaned. That excuse now has gone away. DK, am I right to say that?
Yeah, I'm sure the new government will be withdrawing all these petitions.
Yeah, but at the same time, AAP will complain that, see, you cannot say that we did not do all this work. We were not allowed to.
So you talk about Brahm Prakash and how he had a fight with Anand Pandit. So look at all the governments. I mean, elected governments, not the Metropolitan Council, but even after '93 when the assembly came in place. Everybody, when Madanlal Khurana became the chief minister, he had issues with P.K. Dave. Even Sheila Dikshit, yes, she did have a very good relationship with the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but she had issues with her LGs. Once she went for building bylaws, I think she had issues with Ajana Khanna. Then I think it was B.L. Joshi. Then there was this change in the circle date of properties here. She had issues with, I think, Tejendra Khanna. But not very, there were disagreements, but it was not that bad.
And there was no bitterness, and she could resolve these.
So now this should go. But yes, Rekha Gupta, I'm sure she's not going to be assertive right from day one. She will let Saxena run the administration the way he has been doing.
But nor will Saxena give her trouble.
Of course, he will not, because once you have the political leadership in place, and she has been chosen by the party high command. So Amit Shah, of course, like he virtually runs Delhi. No, he'll be overseeing the entire thing very closely.
Yeah.
So we don't really see any rift happening now. So things will change.
So excuses are gone. So now that he says who will be governing Delhi and how, and that this will be a triple engine government, let's try and understand how does Delhi work. And for that, Neelam Pandey will join in now. Neelam, now that there will be triple engine Sarkar, right? Presuming that everything goes all right, all excuses are gone. It's still quite complex to govern Delhi. So tell us something about this complexity.
Yeah, as you rightly said, as far as Delhi is concerned, and when it comes to governance, it's a very complex region. So if you look at the National Capital Territory of Delhi, you have 3 local bodies. So you have New Delhi Municipal Council, you have Municipal Corporation of Delhi, and then you have the Cantonment Board. So if we look at New Delhi Municipal Council, well, it has only around 3% of area under it. Largely the land is owned by the central government. You have diplomatic enclaves, you have Lutyens Delhi as it is called. Most of the land belongs to the 80% of the land, so to speak, belongs to the central government. And NDMC reports directly to the Home Ministry, the center. You then have the Municipal Corporation of Delhi.
So this includes Jor Bagh, Golf Links,
yes,
Amrita Shergill
Marg,
Prithviraj
Khan
Road,
Market,
Khan Market, yes.
Babar
Kalam Road,
Road,
all
yes,
of these.
Yes. Well, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, which was trifurcated in 2012 by Sheila Dikshit, the then Chief Minister, it was then unified again, and now currently there is an executive wing of the Municipal Corporation and the legislative wing. As far as the executive wing is concerned, the commissioner is the main boss, so to speak, and the mayor is responsible for the house. There are 250 councillors under the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, but if you really have to say who is the main person who has all the authority, then it is the chairperson of the standing committee, which is the all power committee, which takes all decision related to property tax, professional tax, parking lots that are there in Delhi. Anything related to Delhi, any decision related to Delhi is largely
parking in a big city is a very big issue in parking charges. You can see Donald Trump now is trying to use executive powers to change the parking norms and laws in New York City. Right. How that will work, given the federal structure there and the city governance, autonomy of city governance, we don't know. But parking and parking fees is an important thing for voters.
Yes. And every year we hear stories about, the moment Municipal Corporation of Delhi decides to hike parking charges, you see these stories all over newspaper. Well, why it is right now, because it's not a triple engine so far, you have the Aam Aadmi Party at the municipal level. Why it is going to be a challenge for the BJP or as well as for the Aam Aadmi Party, if you look at maintenance of road, construction of road, the smaller roads which are 60 feet and less, they come under MCD. The bigger one they fall under the control of the Delhi government, PWD.
PWD, yes.
The primary schools are responsibility of the
So
MCD.
every time you are hit by a pothole, last 5-7 years, lots of potholes have come. So you have to think about who should you curse. You know, when you hit a pothole, ouch. So do you curse MCD or do you curse Delhi government? But there are potholes everywhere, and the fact is that the previous 15 years, Delhi had forgotten the potholes. This is a more recent thing.
Right. So, as I was pointing out, that primary education, again, it is under the purview of the municipal corporation. Secondary education is under the Delhi government. As far as sanitation is concerned, again, the MCD. But when it comes to desilting of roads, which is always a major problem during monsoon, then it is divided between the PWD and the MCD. So the list is long, and we always see this multiplicity of authorities becoming a major excuse between the elected government as well as the municipal corporation, where no one is willing to take charge of the situation, and they always indulge in blame game. So this is something that may become a problem, because right now we have the Aam Aadmi Party at the municipal level and the BJP at the Delhi government level.
Well, that said, even if it was sort of from the BJP's point of view the perfect word, and they took control of MCD also, given this multiplicity of structures, it's always possible to blame somebody else for what's been messed up. Pothole has so and so is responsible. Power is not coming, so and so is responsible. Now, Neelam, in this one, how does NDMC work? Because that's a peculiar thing. And I know, I'd say that almost every country, the big democracies that, usually they keep their national capital region protected. Even in America, it's not a state, it's a District of Columbia. In Pakistan, for example, Islamabad is national capital region. It's not a part of Punjab. I also know because there was one particular minister, federal minister, who belonged to Punjab, Pakistani Punjab, who had serious criminal cases filed against him in Pakistani Punjab, but Punjab police could not come and arrest him in Islamabad because it wasn't their territory. But to go to the airport in Islamabad, he had to pass through 5 kilometers of Punjab. So whenever he had to take a flight, he would take a helicopter and land at the airport and then carry on. So these are complex things. Yes. Now, in this one, the most privileged part of India, the most privileged real estate, the best roads, the best electricity, the best everything, the best gardens is the NDMC zone. Right. How is that governed?
Well, as far as the NDMC is concerned, you have the chairperson who's the authority, and the chairperson is appointed by the centre in consultation with the chief minister, but it is the centre which takes a decision, and it is an officer above the rank of a joint secretary.
So the power in this case lies with the civil services.
Right. Right. So if you look at the power sector, for instance, you hardly hear of complaints about power cuts because it is all in the hands of the NDMC.
In the NDMC area.
Yes. Whereas if you look at Delhi government, then it is the private discoms, whether it's BSES or Tata Power Limited, they run the distribution in Delhi. So, which is why whether it's sanitation, whether it's the schools, if you look at the Navyuk schools, again the government run schools, but if you compare them with municipal schools or Delhi government run schools, they have been doing much better because the control is with the bureaucracy. I mean, this is what we have been told so far.
So, about Delhi, the oldest stereotype about Delhi is that there are many Delhis, right? That within Delhi, there are many Delhis. There is Shah Jahanpur, there is the outer Delhi, there is the western Delhi, etc., etc. But within all this, the most privileged Delhi is the Lutyens' Delhi, yes. Right? And that's where all the big shots of India live. And that's where Khan Market is also located, right? So, and that also, the one thing that's common there is they also breathe pretty much the same lousy air that the rest of us do.
Yes, yes, that is something that I guess now will be a major, issue that the BJP will have to sort of, come up with a policy decision. And we have been told that they have already started working. The Delhi government officer, the secretaries, they have already come up with a roadmap for various schemes, whether it's rupees 2,500 for the women, or whether it's tackling air pollution or cleaning of Yamuna. We saw images of some action being taken in Yamuna so far, which LG said.
That's a little bit like a band-aid on a bullet wound, right?
Yeah, it's a long,
take a
long
lot
way to
more
go.
a lot more doing, but hopefully, since there are no excuses left, DK, what's your prognosis going ahead?
Well, this entire system where you have this legislative assembly, of course, the assembly was brought back because of pressure from politicians. But if you go back and see what the States Reorganization Commission told us, and when they decided to do away with the assembly in
1955.
55, the observation was that because you have the seat of the union government here, you should not have a legislative assembly. So now we are going to have a triple engine here. But how it works, we have to see. We can only expect that things go smoothly. But given the multiplicity of authorities, there will be some difference of opinion,
Yeah,
some administrative...
it's like Champions Trophy is going on right now, and I've been watching since the afternoon. So it's a bit like three fielders with good intentions go for a catch, and the ball falls between them. So those things can happen.
Because even when we are talking about Sheila Dikshit is perfectly fine with the Prime Minister, with the ruling party at the center. Even if you have different parties, even she had so many issues with the LGs.
Yeah. And Neelam, what do you see going ahead? Because you watched this very closely, unlike DK and me.
Well, I mean, as far as I can see, and how the BJP leader that I have spoken to, they at least in the first year, they want to show some visible change as far as governance is concerned, and whether it's about delivering on the rupees 2,500 promise, or ensuring, these mohalla clinics are turned into their own new brand of Arogya Mandirs. So they would want that some visible changes is there for the public to see, especially as far as roads are concerned, because infrastructure did take a hit during the Aam Aadmi Party's second tenure.
Yeah. And if you ask,
the first test will be actually just a few months from now in the monsoon.
The water
Let's see
logging.
what happens here.
yeah. So in fact, if you ask me, the really low-hanging fruit will be the most visible one. That is these garbage mountains and the state of the Yamuna. Because quality of Delhi's air is an aspirational thing, right? To improve it, because there are many factors, including geographical and geological there. But the state of the river, because it's so bad, it can be improved, and garbage mountains, they can start going down. So,
And Yamuna also, Amit Shah has given a time frame of 3 years, which is quite a short time for this kind of job.
that's right. So let's see where we go. The fact, however, is there is a change. The same party rules at the center and now has Delhi after 27 years. The same party is sort of creeping on. There is an Operation Kambal going on MCD, Municipal Corporation of Delhi, and odds would be, given their track record, that soon enough that will also be run by the BJP. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's an inevitability, but it's a very strong possibility. If that happens, Delhi walas would really expect to see some results that are visible to naked eye. Thank you, DK, and thank you, Neelam.
you.
I know you've been filing since the morning, covering the swearing in and much else. Thank you very much, particularly for finding the time.
Thank you.